Tucker Willingham. I'm a member of Bib Tucker. I live in Moody, Alabama. They asked me to do, just a basic quilting class, and um, anybody knows me know that I'm extra. I'm over the top sometimes. Well, most times I can't just stop at ordinary, And I came home and I thought, okay, whenever I choose a quilt block or a quilt, I bear in mind at all times, I mean all times, where I was when I was learning and what I would have loved to learn. So I'm very selective in what I pick. And when I chose that, it was actually a quilt block, just like the one we're working on right now. It's a quilt block that I redid and sized it to be a quilt. So I tried to include the two techniques in one, which was just putting squares together and then working on half square triangles. So we kind of did a two for one in that class instead of just putting squares together in different patterns and making a quilt. We actually included another, technique in that we did nine patches or well, no, four patches, sorry, and half square triangles. So we were able to do those two at the same time. And I think it morphed into a really beautiful quilt because everybody chose, the colors that they wanted to use and to see the different variation. And I remember yours was just so stunning. It was absolutely artistic and just gorgeous. And I was so proud. I was so proud. So thinking about it, I said, well, if I'm going to do this and teach them for 6 weeks, I want them when they're done to feel accomplished. I want them to feel like they have did their best and look, like a child, look what I did, look what I have done. So I wrote it around in my head and then it came up, okay, so we're doing 6 weeks of 101 quilting, basic quilting. And I thought, oh man, it would be so much fun if we had a graduation. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I called Miss Annie and she was like, oh, Barbara, I don't know what I'm going to do with you. That's too much for us. I said, just hang in there I promise you, it'll be worth it in the long run. Just go with me with this one. I said, okay. But we're not used to that. So we will see. And that was, I don't think there was anybody in that class who did not feel good when it was all over. Would you say?
Yeah, I would agree. It felt really. I felt really accomplished. I felt like I learned a lot. I learned skills that also applied to other things for me that that I learned through the quilting. You teach with such detail and give such good suggestions and advice and reminders the whole every step through the teaching process that I can't imagine that anyone didn't feel accomplished after making their quilt.
And the graduation.
Yeah, and getting to celebrate with everyone afterwards and hold up our quilts and take a picture and walk in and have a guest come is wonderful.
Awesome. It was awesome. I think it was so good. Carolyn, bless her heart.
Oh, yes.
She was just, oh my gosh. She told everybody about her graduation and everything. It was, and then the caps. I look at that picture of the group picture, and it just makes my heart my heart so glad just to see everybody, you know, looking like they're graduating from a law school in their blacks and their white cap. It was really, I enjoyed that. I really did, and it brings a smile to my face every time I think about it, and I want them to remember, that time when you're not feeling too happy, and Bib and Tucker is not, we're not under a building anymore. Just think about the time, we had when we had it, and all the fun we had, all the fun. Some days the room was just filled with laughter and chatter, and a little frustration here and there, but we hung in there, and it turned out really good, and we had a good celebration, and I will always remember that, and I hope they do too.